know, Madison actually warned against the Bill of Rights in the Federalist Papers. He said, if we enumerate just 10 rights, then what about all the others that we don't have the space to enumerate? Because the 10 rights that are codified and guaranteed in the Bill of Rights are not the only rights we have. If you think that, then you probably think the government gave you the rights and they only gave you 10 of them, right? But we had rights before that. That's why in the Declaration of Independence it says that governments are instituted to safeguard our rights. Is that correct? Correct. So if they're instituted to safeguard our rights, that means we had them before the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence were even written. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Why do we have a Second Amendment?
To protect us against tyranny!
Yep.
Is it to go shoot holes in targets?
No.
To protect the first!
Is it even to shoot criminals that bust our doors down?
No.
Small time criminals, I mean. It says it right there in the text. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says it right there in the text. It is to maintain the security of a free state. That's the only reason it is there. What does the word well-regulated mean? It has to be, the next question is when. What did the word gay mean in 1940?
Happy.
What does it mean now? Right. What does the word well-regulated mean now? Choked to death by red tape. What did it mean in 1789? Well-trained, well-supplied, well-equipped, and in proper working order. Who has a grandma who has a regulator clock ticking away in her living room? What does a regulator mean? It means that it's in proper working order, that their clocks are guaranteed to work correctly. What is necessary for a militia or we the people to work correctly?
Training.
Guns! Woo! Because nothing else keeps the government from taking your rights away. Have you all seen the pictures of the people sitting on the side of a mass grave with a Luger to their head? Or being pushed up against a berm with an AK-47 in the back?
Yeah.
Have you seen the little pictures of dead babies who are starved to death in a concentration camp?
Yeah.
That little baby died because his or her parents gave up their guns or never had them to begin with.
Yep.
If you give up your guns, the cattle cars are coming. You can look time and time again throughout history. 1900 on, scientifically, historically proven that gun registration is followed by gun confiscation. Gun confiscation is always followed by genocide.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in worrying about how many rounds I can have in my magazine, or if I can have a pistol grip, because those are weeds. Don't get caught in the weeds. Look at the big picture. Look at history. What did the Turkish Christians, the Armenians, think in World War I? They were being marched out into the wilderness to die and be destroyed. Have you seen, I've seen pictures of piles of Armenian Christian skulls stacked up with the faces still on them. There's one skull that has a confused look on its face. Like, why did this happen to me? If you look at everything, even Rwanda, even the Tutus that massacred the Hutsis with machetes passed laws first to take their guns away. In Africa, they passed the laws. And you know they passed even laws in the Soviet Union. You can look up the Soviet Penal Code that says firearms are forbidden in China. Everywhere where gun control has led to genocide, and that's everywhere, it's been tried, there's always a law written to disarm the people.
Yep.
The Nazi Gun Control Act of 1938 was translated roughly into English and passed as the Gun Control Act of 1968. All they did was, Metzenbaum did was translate German into English. That's all I did. Gun rights protect freedom. But you have to have the will to use them. Did you know in Iraq, when Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq, that everybody had AK-47s in their houses?
Yes.
They still have them today. The U.S. military allows each family to keep an automatic AK-47 in their house with ammunition. But what they didn't have is the will to use them. They didn't have the will to get rid of Saddam Hussein with their guns, even though they had the guns. So we can have a bunch of guns, that's great. What keeps tyranny away is the government knowing that eventually the guns will be used.
Yep.
And that's, even if they are never used, the potential is what keeps us free. The fact that there's a gun in every closet is really what keeps us free, and I say that as a veteran of the Marine Corps. I spent 9 years playing video games. I was a radio technician, and a scout sniper and force recon, and a cook that can throw knives through walls and blow up microwaves and all that stuff. I'm just kidding. I fix radios. But the real source of our freedom from the most lethal and terrible kind of tyranny is the rifle in the hand of every man, woman, and child in this country. And if you think that's a crazy thing to say, just read the Second Amendment again. It says it right there. It is necessary for the security of a free state, a well-regulated militia. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Texas is an anti-gun state because they do not recognize the right to bear arms.
Yep.
To bear arms, you must ask permission from the government to bear a handgun. And if the Texas legislature passes a law forbidding the open carry of long guns, then the Constitution, in a lot of people's minds, will not mean anything because the state law was passed. When does a state law or even a federal law trump the Constitution?
Never. Never.
That's the point. The Texas Constitution is unconstitutional. It says that the Texas legislature, with the view to regulate or prevent crime, may regulate the wearing of arms. Now, how does that agree with the Second Amendment that says our right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed?
It doesn't. It does
What
not.
does the word infringed mean?
You have to ask permission.
Carpet has fringe. What happens if you remove the fringe? You have infringed on the carpet. If I have to ask permission to carry a 1911 down the street, whether concealed or unconcealed, it is a violation of my right to bear arms.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Texas is an anti-gun state, and the legislators of this state are pussies.
That's the truth.
They talk a good game, but as soon as they get in the State House, their brains turn into mush and their spines turn into jelly.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we supposed to have a Republican majority? Are we supposed to have a Republican governor who loves guns and turns into Patrick Henry at every election time?
Yeah.
What happens when the rubber meets the road? All that hot air is just that.
Yeah.
With a couple exceptions, the Texas legislature is anti-constitution because we're always worried about them passing a law restricting our gun rights. And oh, will they do it this time or not? And they all swear an oath to the Constitution, don't they?
Yeah.
They all swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution.
All right.
But when the rubber meets the road in the State House, 98% of them fail miserably, including our governor.
Here, here.
Vermont has more guns than we do. I feel like my first sergeant. So you have to ask permission to do something that's not right. You think you live in a free country? Think of something you can do without asking the government for permission, or something you can buy, eat, or watch without asking the government for permission to do it. You can't think of anything. Even breathing is taxed. The income tax is a tax on your existence. So in the midst of a sea of oath takers, but not oath keepers, I'd like to invite everybody who has taken the oath in an official capacity to rededicate themselves to the oath that you took when you joined the military or you became a peace officer, a judge, attorney, elected official, whatever. If you're ready, and do this solemnly, this is not just something to do, raise your right hand and dedicate yourself to the Constitution, which is the only thing that matters in this country. I, Jay Stang, state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. So help me God. Everybody takes that oath as an individual responsibility to uphold it. There is no waiting for the courts to decide. There is no following whatever order is given. There is no federal law of whatever variety trumps the Constitution. Everybody everybody who takes that oath is individually responsible to uphold the oath. The people that follow Lieutenant Calley's orders and Me Lai were not given a pass because they were just following orders. Even the Nazis that we hung in Nuremberg had never sworn an oath to the U.S. Constitution, but they were not even afforded the excuse of following orders. Following orders is never an excuse. And if you follow orders and violate the rights of the Constitution that are protected by it, sooner or later you will be held accountable in a court of law. If you are a traitor, then you should be dealt with as the Constitution requires, not in a secret courtroom. I invite all of you that have just rededicated yourselves to the oath of office to the Constitution, read your Constitution, read the Federalist Papers, read the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions of 1798, read the Anti-Federalist Papers, know what you just swore an oath to. And everybody else who's sworn an oath that isn't in this body, you need to talk to them, give them a Constitution. When you go to an airport, get the manual pat down, because you get 5 minutes of undivided attention from the TSA. And it is easy to piss them off. Because when you tell them that the Constitution does not give them an out and that they are violating your constitutional rights, they don't like it. And when you tell them that they have no probable cause or any reason to search you, they don't like it. They get mad real fast. And they yell at you in the airport. So I yell at them right back. You are a tyrant. And you are responsible for turning this country into a police state and a tyranny. You are individually responsible for following unconstitutional orders. If you are given an order like that, your job is to peacefully refuse to follow that order. And I stress peacefully. If you are a member of the United States military who is ordered to violate the Bill of Rights or the 10 orders that we will not follow, your sworn duty that you voluntarily swore to do is to lay down your weapon and refuse to follow that order. No one gets a pass. Sooner or later, you will be held accountable. And that goes from the dog catcher all the way up. Everybody that works for the U.S. government is bound to the Constitution first and foremost. If the president himself gives you an unlawful order, your job is to say, no, sir, that is an unconstitutional order, that is an unlawful order, and I will not follow it.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't matter who it is. If it's a general, a second lieutenant, the president himself, your job is to disobey peacefully an unconstitutional order. That's the only way it works. We cannot write a magical piece of paper that will protect our rights for us. I don't care how amazingly good the Constitution was written, it can't enforce itself. George Washington said, the only keepers of the Constitution are we the people. We the people in the preamble founded the Constitution, and we are the only ones that can keep it alive. Don't look to the Constitution, look in the mirror. Thank you very much.